Right. Okay, we are on Folklore. So this was released July 24th, 2020. So that is a little ways into lockdown. So apparently this album was a complete surprise to everyone, including her record label. So that's fun. She recorded it during lockdown and sent a load of stuff over to her collaborators and got it done in secret, evidently. What's interesting about this album is that most of her other songs have been about her life or the things surrounding her life, whereas this is telling stories that she's made up, basically, in isolation. The fact that it's called Folklore makes me think that it's going to be much more acoustic, much more chill. And the fact that it's stories that she's telling, not about her life, makes me think maybe the writing's going to come back to where it was at its peak in Speak Now. I'm very, very, very interested to see what this album does. So we're going to jump straight into it. So, track one. Track one is The One. The One is the second single from the album, and it centers around the nostalgic remembrance of myths and lost loves. Taylor contemplates an alternate life in which her old wishes had come true and resulted in a relationship with her ex-lover. Oh, I wonder which one. Sharing a similar sentiment to Swift track I Almost Do from 2012's Red, The One is a callback to the folk moments on the same record, folk music being a defining influence on folklore, obviously. Right, okay. Brand new headphones. So sonically, this is going to be delightful. I'm not used to hearing her swear in her songs, I don't think. It might have happened once or twice, but it's not something that I generally associate with her. Maybe she's taking more risks.
I thought I saw you.
That picked acoustic guitar sounds very, very live. It doesn't sound messed with at all. It's interesting. The piano and the guitar on the sound a lot more live than the rest of the instruments, which makes me think that Taylor's recorded the piano and the guitar at her home, and everything else was put in by other people.
I had this dream you're doing cool.
Yeah, so this is pretty much exactly what I expected that this album was going to be. It's a really stripped back, acoustic, ethereal backing vocals, really breathy, up close lead vocals, beautiful imagery, well written lyrics. Yeah, I enjoyed that song. And it's made me very excited for the rest of this album. Okay, Cardigan. Accompanied by the release of her project and written and recorded during the lockdown, blah blah blah. Cardigan is believed to be the first part of Folklore's teenage love triangle told from the point of view of Betty. The storyline is followed by August and Betty. Swift explained in a live chat. There's a collection of 3 songs I refer to as the teenage love triangle. These beautiful, okay? I see that there's much less lore to read through with these songs because they're all their own story. That was another really, really nice song. I'm so glad that the writing's back to when I was really, really enjoying it, before it got dumbed down by 1989. So this is the first part of a trilogy of songs. I particularly enjoy this refrain here. Oh, this is interesting. This track has Bon Iver. Exile describes 2 ex-lovers seeing each other following a breakup. Justin Vernon describes feelings of confusion about how quickly a lover moved on, while Swift offers a perspective about repeated warning signs that the relationship was no longer working. It's also worth noting the contrast between Vernon's rougher voice and Swift's smoother one, which mirrors the contrast between the views on their relationship. The song prompted many comparisons to Swift's 2012 track The Last Time, another song that discusses the downfall of relationship marks like Exile. Swift and featured artist Gary Lightbody's voices contrast in tone. Yeah, I said that at the time. I didn't like it. Highlighting their differences. Yeah, but it worked in that respect, I suppose, but as a song, I didn't think it worked. This is also her first collaboration with Bon Iver, who she called one of her musical heroes. That's fair enough. That's another dude who likes to change stuff up. Right.
think I've seen this film before.
That's interesting. So you've got Justin singing lyrics and a melody that were clearly written by Taylor. She's got her two-tone thing going on that she does in a lot of her songs. So she goes da 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 da. She just uses two notes. And interesting. I wonder how it, because I always imagined in collaborations they wrote their own verses, but maybe not. That's my favourite collab so far, definitely. That's
It's not funny at all.
yeah, he's really showing off Justin's range there. Goes from super low to super high to bang in the middle. And their voices work so well together. Also, it helps that it's been produced incredibly well, so. I missed one. I skipped one, in fact. Okay, let's go back to this one then. The Last Great American Dynasty follows the story of Rebecca Harkness, a patron of the arts and founder of the Rebecca Harkness Foundation. In 2013, Swift bought a Rhode Island mansion once owned by Rebecca Harkness. The mansion is known as a holiday house. Taylor draws subtle comparisons between herself and Rebecca Harkness in the songs. She likens her star-studded parties to the bevy of famous composers and dancers that once frequented Holiday House in Harkness days. Also similar to Taylor Swift, Rebecca Harkness was often a target of harsh criticism. This song is reminiscent of Lucky One. Let's give it a pop. Yeah, I definitely see the comparisons to the Lucky One. It's just a lot more specifically about Rebecca.
Rebecca gave up.
What a wonderful story, and what a I wonder if she knew whose house it was before she bought it. Surely, because it seems like the perfect house for her. Yeah, another great story there. Great. My Tears Ricochet. Swift shared via Instagram that My Tears Ricochet is about an embittered tormentor showing up at the funeral of his fallen object of obsession. She revealed in a YouTube live chat it was the first song she wrote for Folklore. Some fans believe it connects to Swift's personal life as well, with the song really being about Scott Borchetto's betrayal of Swift when she left Big Machine Records. Great.
Till my dying day.
Just me, or is her singing just generally better on this album? I wonder if it's because it's less processed and more personal. What a really nicely envisioned song. The ghostly backing vocals and the entire choir she's made there with her voice just fits in so nicely with the story. It just sounds really good. She's done a fantastic job of creating an image here. It's going up an S. Mirrorball. Sounds like a James Bond film. On Mirrorball, she compares herself to a reflective disco ball. She sees herself as reflecting all the personalities around her. She entertains others, but shatters like glass when her heart's broken. Okay, so one big metaphor coming up.
Of yourself tonight.
That's the first track on this album I've not particularly enjoyed. About an average. Yeah, after all the really enjoyable stories and vocal effects and production techniques and everything, this has been pretty, well, average, really. Yeah. Okay, next. 7. This song is about one of Taylor's childhood friends who seemed to have an unhappy life at home. Taylor reflects back on her innocence back then and how she thought their problems could be easily solved. This is reminiscent of the song It's Nice to Have a Friend. Oh, I like that song. Which talks about a childhood friend that Taylor grows up with and eventually marries. Great.
Please.
So I really enjoyed the story and the lyrics of this song, but I didn't enjoy the music or the melody at all, really, which is confusing for me. I'm going to pop it down there, I think. Yeah. There was just something about that musically that just did absolutely nothing for me. I wonder if that's just a me thing. Anyway, August. The song describes an ill-fated summer romance, similarly to Swift's earlier works like Tim McGraw. Fans believe it's the second part of Folklore's teenage love triangle. Oh, okay. It's inspired by the sun-drenched month of August, slipped away like a bottle of wine. It's also worth noting that August is the 8th month of the year, and August is the 8th track of Folklore, and Folklore is 8th. the 8th album. Okay, cool. Right, carrying on.
Salt air.
Oh, okay, so that was the second part of the teenage love triangle. I'm still no clearer on what's going on. The first song seemed to be about two of them getting together, and then this one seems to be from the point of view of it having all ended. So maybe the third song is going to be during and give us a bit more information. Yeah, I'd have to analyse the lyrics a bit more if I get the story of this, but yeah. Cool. That was a decent one. What is next? This is me. Much like Afterglow, this is me trying sees her accepting fault for relationship issues and making an effort to repair them. Fear, alcohol, and a sense of failure and isolation complicate the healing process. She takes the first step by having the humility to admit that things are difficult and uncertain. Great, cool. So that gave me very... if you've ever heard the theme to Twin Peaks... if you've ever heard that, that's what these vocal effects reminded me of. In fact, the whole song did a little bit. It's got some really weird vibes to it. Yeah, it's about a woman who clearly is trying very hard, but it's scuppered every step of the way by her own mental issues, and she went straight into alcohol, and yeah, it's a sad story. Alright, what is next? Illicit affairs. Illicit affairs tax the ideal of infidelity, which she first discussed in Shoulda Said No. In the decade since she released Shoulda Said No, Swift's conception of infidelity has changed from one blanket condemnation to a significantly more nuanced and sympathetic take regarding both the dwindling, mercurial high that infidelity can bring, but also the heartbreak. Right, so yeah, she's grown as a person. That's how you'd hope so in 10 years.
What started in beautiful
Those high notes. Tell yourself you can always stop. That reminds me of Regina Spektor so much.
rooms ends with ease.
There's a lot about this song that reminds me of Regina. It dies and it dies and it dies. That's the sort of thing that she'd do. Also, she seems to have either invested in a thesaurus or expanded her vocabulary for this album. So, or maybe she's just trying not to dumb it down as much. Yeah. Good song, that. I think a lot of these songs I would prefer if they were just acoustic, if they were just her and a guitar or her and a piano, which I'm sure exists. I'm sure that's a thing that's been done. I'll have to look them up at some point when I'm finished going through the albums. But yeah, I really like the many acoustic guitars going on at the same time there, really helping. But yeah, that was nice. Put that there. Invisible String. Invisible String references an East Asian folk myth about a red thread of fate. Hard to say. Red thread of fate. Red thread of fate. Drawing two soulmates together. Like on Swift's 2019 track Lover, she expresses gratitude for past romantic failures since they paved the way for her relationship with Joe. The song includes several nods to Swift's past work, including Bad Blood, Delicate, Red, Daylight. She uses the connections of different colours to convey the intensity of love. Right, so we're taking all the colour stuff that we've had, and this is the result of that, is it? Okay. Yeah, so again, the lyrics and the imagery, the story was really good. The melody that she's chosen to sing those words in makes very little sense to me. There's no hook, really. Some of the notes she's choosing are just bizarre to me. Yeah, I don't understand why she's choosing the melodies she's choosing. Trying to be different, maybe? Yeah. Okay, Mad Woman. Much like her previous songs Blank Space and Look What You Made Me Do, and which she references throughout this song, Swift connects the concept of a delusional woman to her personal life, particularly her battles with Scooter Braun and Scott Borchetta, over owning her music and defaming her in his song Famous. Okay. Okay, so this song is just a worse version of the last Great American Dynasty, which I think told that story better and told the exact same story as well, but framed it better. Didn't think much of that one, but Great American Dynasties, that is essentially exactly the same message. So, Epiphany. Epiphany describes someone hoping to find peace in their dreams despite living in a world of chaos and violence, specifically in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. Swift explains that the song touches on her grandfather's experience in the military. That was a very, very pretty song that I never want to listen to again, quite frankly, because the subject matter is disturbing. But, yeah. Yeah. So that song was musically really nicely layered and ethereal, and the effects that they used were perfect. Nothing was overdone. There was a point there where I phased out and just the music was going on around me, and I wasn't reading the lyrics anymore. I was in my own head, which with a song like that is kind of what you want. Yeah, I'm going to go with Haunting Song. There you go, that's what they'd use in a pretentious music magazine. What do we got next? Betty. Oh, it's the third part of the Teenage Love Triangle. Maybe I will understand what's going on a bit more. In fact, I won't read the blurb first, I'll read the blurb second.
Breathe.
Okay, we got Betty. Betty is likely the person from the first song for some reason. That's what I'm gathering anyway. Let's carry on.
You heard the rumors from Inez. You can't believe a word she says.
Okay, we've got another part. We've got Inez. So we've got Betty and Inez. Who is the third person? It's the person who's narrating this song is the third person. I wonder if they're gonna... I wonder if I've just missed a name somewhere. But that
Most times.
Right, so this person and Inez, I think, were in a relationship, and then this person and Betty got together.
But if I just show you.
Oh, I was wrong. Okay, so this person and Betty was a thing, and this person got with Inez. Okay.
James, get in, let's drive.
Hey, James! Okay, we've waited to the third song to get all three names. So this person's name is James. James cheated on Betty with Inez, and he's regretting it and wants to get back at Betty. Okay, love.
Next to her, but I dreamt of you, yeah.
Cardigan, called it.
Kissing in my
Love it! I love we got some answers there. Also, they should just start a throuple. That's going in S. Love that. Brilliant. Two more tracks. What we got? Peace. Peace is a calm tune describing Swift's maturation and changing view of romance. Like The Archer, Swift explains her shortcomings in a relationship and hopes that her partner will stay with her in spite of them. However, unlike her own personal flaws explored in The Archer, song focuses on her fame. She worries that the lack of privacy could drive her partner away. I'm pretty sure we've explored this subject before in a song. Yeah, this is a nice little introspective song. I don't know if I agree with the massively minimalist. I get what they were going for. It's a very chill, calm song, very much come to terms with her own feelings. But, I mean, musically it didn't do too much for me. We've got one song left on this album. Hoax. Let's have a look. An appropriate final track to an album, I'll be the judge of that, thank you very much. Filled with melancholy and darkness. Hoax narrates the struggles Taylor endures in a toxic relationship. Although she has the edge of hopelessness by her lover, Taylor is unable to let go of her doomed relationship. This is a big departure, she said. Don't try and give it any other space other than what feels natural to you. If you leave me in a room with a piano, I might play something like this. I take comfort in this. I imagined her playing and singing it after writing all these songs. This one felt the most emotional and the rawest. It's one of my favourites. Okay, right, I'm not going to spoil myself anymore. Let's see ourselves out.
My only one.
What a sad song to end on. Let's have a look at these. So, a very mixed bag from this album then. The problem with a lot of these songs is that when I go from album to album so quickly, because obviously everyone else had a year, 2 years between albums, whereas I'm jumping from one to the other. I mean, I listened to Lover yesterday, so it's been a heck of a jump to this from Lover. And I think a lot of these songs, you pick and choose depending on the mood you're in. I'm not giving myself that luxury. These songs, if you were in the mood for them, if you were in the right state of mind for some of these songs, they would have a lot more meaning to you, they would hit you harder. But right now, I'm very much still in Lover mode, which is a weird thing to say out loud, I'm just realising, but yeah, I got really fidgety towards the end there as well. So yeah, I think I need something a bit more upbeat right now, so maybe I'll give these songs another listen in a couple of days, assuming I haven't already jumped to Evermore by then, and see if I can grasp something else from them that I wasn't getting today. Yeah, I think that's where I've gone wrong with this album. I've not been in the right... Like, I've got way too much energy now. I feel like I need to go out for a run because I've been sitting here listening to this. But, okay. Right. So, the next album is Evermore, which apparently came out very shortly after this, which leads me to believe it's very much along the same lines, and she was writing it all at the same time. I'm assuming. I've not read anything about it yet. So, yeah, I will try and give myself a couple of days, and then after that, there's only one album left. And then I'm not going to know what to do with myself. I'll have to think of something, some other series of albums to listen to and get acquainted with. But yeah, the notes have all but stopped. Because Lover, of course, she was in a stable relationship, so there was no more goss to write down. And then this is mainly stories about other people. So yeah, I think the note era has died, which is sad in a way. But at the same time, it's a lot easier for me. Right, brilliant. Okay, so I will see you on the next one then. Have fun. I'm going to eat some food.